Oh shit.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to your number one Tom Swift review podcast, Decoding Tom Swift. I am your
Hey,
co-host, Carefree Black Nerd Rhayne Coleman, and I have with me today, like I do every recording, get it to it if you haven't. Please let these folks know who is on the mic talking with me today.
M Haynes on the mic.
Good. God darn it. Yeah. So we are in episode 5. We are in the Crash Cotillion. I would like to say I'm surprised, though this is jumping ahead, that we're getting an episode next week. I just knew this was the mid-season finale.
I
So
feel like it. I feel like we got maybe like 1 or 2 more weeks for it happen.
but like we only got 10 episodes. Oh man, I hope they don't do it
Listen,
before the finale. Please don't do that. Oh shoot! They're like, yeah, we got 2 weeks, and then you can see the final episode. So, yeah. So for this episode, Tom, Zenzi, and Isaac are determined to find the third capsule piece with no detours, kidnappings, or rogue dates until Tom receives some news from Claire. Meanwhile, Lorraine and her new wig works on finalizing the Tubman Group coalition. Cotillion, that's a coalition. And Lino drops a bomb on Isaac. He dropped a bomb on Isaac.
listen.
Baby. He dropped a bomb on Isaac. So, general thoughts? Any like general receptions?
Whew.
Yes. Yes.
That's my opening statement. Whew.
Mm-mm. This this was wild. So this episode we got a cotillion.
Mhm.
And I, to be quite honest, show my station in life, I am still a bit unclear. Is this like a quinceañera but for black people? Like, what is? I'm not. I know it's like a well talented tent type thing. It was an all American, and those folks were wealthy. So like Jack and Jill, maybe.
Um, so I by no means am I in the circle to do this,
Yo.
but like from my understanding, it's basically like think like a scholarship like pageant type deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like you do this, you get like sponsored, what have you, by somebody wealthy, and you show your appreciation by participating in this whole big pomp and circumstance thing. Have you ever
Hmm.
seen Miss Juneteenth?
Cool.
Have you ever seen the movie Miss Juneteenth?
Mm-mm. It's on there. Well, I'm going to shout them out, but
I don't know what's it on, but I was gonna say it's like that. Um,
I'm just making a note because I will be revisiting that. Okay, that that seems pretty
it's real bougie.
fair.
It's real
Uh,
bougie. Hmm.
yeah, no. And see when I think of cotillions, I do think of like, oh God, forgive me, those very elite black. If you were around in the early 2000s, that whole Black Illuminati cult stuff that was like that's what I think of, and not necessarily the negative Illuminati aspects, but like that whole like wealth party, but whatever. That's I believe it alone, but that's what I get from it. But mm, this was something. Um, so starting out, I would like to discuss Claire.
Okay.
Now, I discovered something last night or Tuesday night during the live tweet that made me very uncomfortable.
Okay.
And that is that I am enjoying Claire.
Oh my God.
And I was like, hold up, I'm not a stan whatsoever, but I do like that they're giving her more to do and more to like push back against Tom. Cause I don't like her, yeah, because she's the villain, but I don't want her to just sit back and take whatever Tom is giving her. She's coming back with the shit she got, though her plan is very devious and she needs to be thrown under the jail. Like that aside, like all the shit she's doing, she's like giving it to him. She's making things extremely hard. And what I like about her is that I don't know if she's part of the rollback or if she's just like, I've been here, I earned this title. And so I
Yeah.
like that about her.
Like
Um,
skipping ahead just a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little bad for her by the end of the episode.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna talk about it when we get there, but yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I felt a little bad for it. I was like, wait, what? I'm feeling remorse for Claire.
Yes. Her, not Claire. She, and I ain't gonna hold you up in that green suit. We can do
Listen,
some things.
the wardrobe be wardrobing.
Hey, I'm saying, and it's not that Claire looks bad any other time, but this green suit for whatever reason was like really doing it for me. I was like, God damn. So I don't know if it's just the what is it, monochrome color on color on color, but they put her in that again, and I just might be swayed to the other side. So I'm just saying.
Look, maybe Lorraine has a point. Maybe
I
Lorraine has a point.
mean, I see, I might not agree, but I see where she's coming from, because Brittany, sis, you are beautiful. Like, you evil, and I don't like you, but hey, they don't call them enemies for lovers for no reason. But she really, I don't know if we just didn't get enough of her, or I just wasn't paying attention. But Claire was an asshole this season. I mean, this episode. She, from Zenzi to Quinn to Tom, like, she was definitely like, get your shit together. And I say that, and I want to be clear, because a lot of times when I look at women in shows, I look at, how do you feel about them now? Now switch them out for a man. Do you feel the same way? And I would have felt the same way, but I do like that she's like, no, like, motherfucker, you are terrible. You are terrible at running this company. And though we know Tom has an excuse for how he's been slacking off, it doesn't change the fact that you've been slacking off, giving her an opportunity to come in and take what's rightfully yours. So I don't know. I'm not a clear stand, but
maybe she makes a point.
I mean, yeah. No. I think so. Quinn was odd to me, not the character themselves, but just, I think finding out that Claire had an assistant was what kind of threw me off. And the way that she treated them, and because I think Quinn uses they them pronouns, I think, because Tom at the end of the episode was like, give Quinn such and such, give them a chance or something. So I'm gonna just stick with they them. But we've seen that Claire is a bit of an asshole, I didn't expect for her to be that way to her assistant. Maybe to Tom, but not to Quinn. That kind of messed me up a little bit.
I mean, I feel like it's part of the course. Maybe not necessarily for Claire specifically, but in this type of environment, I feel like them type of relationships you're gonna get, like, just by the nature of the job.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was just like, man, I'm so conflicted, Claire. It's like, I wonder if this is, side note, how straight men feel when they watch P-Valley the other night, and like, where you're like conflicted with your feelings about this sex scene. To be quite honest, we got a very similar, if not beat for beat, scene in Tom Swift. It was just with men who were appearing a bit more effeminate, but it was the same scene. So, yeah.
Not on that.
Hey, I would look, because all I know is, in my head canon, is Tom Swift and P-Valley in the same universe. I know this. This is true. I don't.
Not Clifford Tom be visiting the bank.
Hey, he gonna go and save the bank. You know what I'm saying? So, oh my God. Okay, so what is going on with this casting? Either I am just thoroughly confused, or is Lino biracial? Like, what is happening? Now, his mom, is she mixed race? Is she like,
I didn't get
Afro Latin, or is she just black? I don't know. I guess I look at her and I don't know.
I didn't see. I mean, and usually I feel like I'm pretty good at picking up on stuff like that, but she just seems like a black lady to me.
And I'm with that, and nothing, hey, I'm with that. I was just like, wait a minute. Now, is Lino mixed race? Is she mixed race? It's her, and so I don't know. But I will say that I enjoyed this performance. We met Violet. My God, So Lino talking to Isaac, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to meet my bio mom. Don't be mad. I'm out of here." So they show up at this like treatment facility, and him and Isaac are there. They're talking. They're talking about his mom, and she pops up. And first of all, this woman is gorgeous. Like, my God, like the casting. If we can revisit that, the casting.
That's what I
My
thought she was.
God. Yo, like these people are beautiful. What world is this? So she pops up. She's like, "Hey, I loved you. I wanted to come back for you. Your mom wouldn't, your aunt wouldn't let me. There's not one day that I didn't want to come for you." Now, what I guess I should have been paying attention to is, though there is a restraining order, so she says, she also mentioned she can leave the facility whenever she wanted. She's like, "It's not jail," and I was like, "Well, couldn't you still have? I mean, maybe that would have been too much, but couldn't you still have like popped up at a game or something, or like?" She had me. She had me fooled. I'm sorry. She had me fooled. How do you feel about Violet? Violet Warren.
What you said like made me really raise my eyebrows. Like, wait a minute, what?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, something in the milk ain't clean. So that was honestly my interpretation from like almost immediately. Like, I don't know, some may right, some may right. Like I did wonder for like a fleeting moment, like if Lorraine would be like the villain in Lino's story too. But again, like I went right back to that statement. I was like, there's more to the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to be against Lorraine, not because I hate her or nothing. But I was like, man, Lorraine got to be the villain. But the way they set her up, like it's like the show set it up so you would think Lorraine was the villain. And this woman popping up out of nowhere, or Lino popping up into her or whatever. I like that she had Isaac fooled. Now I hate it. I'm gonna go on record saying I hate it, but I like that she was charming enough to also, I don't even gonna say fool, to also like get Isaac to drink the Kool-Aid too. I'll say that because I don't necessarily think she fooled anyone, because I feel like she genuinely is giving you her side of the story and she believes it. Because to be quite honest, once we got to the end and she was strapped to that gurney, I was like, wait a minute. Yes, she might be quote unquote crazy for the sake of TV, but that I can't accept that that's just what it is. Because like,
no. She said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say she used the word experiment very intentionally. Let that go.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So and the other thing that in addition to that line, what you just said, they never made it seem like, and I'm not even saying this is right because I don't deal with mental health issues, so I'm hoping that this doesn't come off wrong. But with her, there wasn't this idea of, oh, she's on meds now and she's better, and now all of a sudden she's off. Like we didn't even go that route to be like, oh, that's why she's acting out. Like, so if she was experimented on and he was, like, his idea of like, my mom went, that quote, they say she went crazy when I was 3, and we're seeing it acted out. If he's experimenting on and she is too, will he deal with any maybe neural damage they're dealing with or emotional like, I don't know what that is, and that's interesting to me.
I don't know either. And this is just me assuming, like I would think that they would sort of experiment on, if what Violet says is true, that she got experimented on. She was the guinea pig, and they perfected it with Lino, because she said something to the effect of like, you're the one, something to that effect. So it would make sense to me that he might not have some of the same, for lack of a better word, like drawbacks that she did. But it's all depending on what they do with it.
Yeah, and that, like I'm scared of this, but this would make for good TV.
Yeah.
If it turns out that Barton and Lorraine experimented on that boy, that would be more.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that. I'm kind of in that boat.
Because I'm like, what other? It may now if you're saving him from something that his mother did, I can't even fault her completely because we got to see through her eyes the same, I'll say, electromagnetic pulses, for lack of a better term. We got to see that through her eyes and through his. So I'm like, was she pregnant and they did this stuff? Was he born and like, was he created? I'm just scared Barton gonna come back from Saturn and be like, yes, you are my robot son and I did this to you and your mother. Like, I'm like, you could go back in space. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, Braxton.
Yeah. Yeah, with his evil, because I don't think they're completely good. Lord. So she, I don't want to say warms her wealth, but she gets her way into, still don't sound right. Lino accepts his mother.
Yes.
Him and Isaac, and that's cute. It is.
Mhm.
Isaac, what I like about this, though it's a whole different show, I feel like we kind of get a glimpse into what a Jeffrey Will's dad situation could have looked like. Like, I feel like this is a
Yeah.
variant. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a good or bad thing. If you're like, oh, I've seen this story before, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like.
I mean, there wasn't the possibility of one of them being a robot in Bel Air. So
well,
it's
there's
already
that. There's that. There is that. Okay, another thing, I want to stay on her scene too long, but with this stress relieving technique she had with the fingers and all that, again, it was so minor, but I like that she kind of drew Isaac in, maybe not even knowing, but playing on his, what I'm going to assume are like insecurities or kind of feeling of emptiness, because one, we know that his ex-girlfriend was either murdered or died, and it doesn't seem like he has family. So the conversation he had with Lorraine later on in the episode, it was like, okay, so I wonder if Violet kind of tapped into that maternal thing that he had been missing for some time. And it's like, and does that have anything to do with like his identity, or is it just simply you have no mother anymore? So I feel so bad for Isaac.
That was down bad. That was down bad.
Yeah. I think I can go out on a limb and say that Canva sponsored this episode or threw some money at this show, because the way Queen was like, yeah, do such and such so we can put it into Canva and I can do. I was like, wait a minute now.
Did you use
Canva is a great app, program, all that. It truly is. I was like, this is a first. I don't recall ever seeing anything like. So kudos to you, Canva, which makes sense because hey, software coupled with this show, that just makes sense. How do you feel about Quinn?
I think that he gave Tom a reality check. We'll see now if it sticks.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think that they kind of needed. I think we needed that outside perspective, and I think they did a good job in kind of bringing that into the show.
I agree, and that we haven't had a lot of new characters introduced, and since we did get Quinn, I'm truly hoping that they stay around. Because at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about Quinn, but the more I watched, I was like, no, like this is perfect. Like, because the way I see the episode, Tom has been trying to like charm Quinn and maybe hit on Quinn and like use your masculine wiles to like influence Quinn to do your bidding, and it's not working. And I like that. I don't know Quinn's station, if you're like wealthy, if you're just like trying to make it, but you have wealth, or this is your like shot. But I do like this, like you said, reality check. That like you are messing stuff up for a lot of us, and you don't even know it. You're that far removed from your own people, like people who work for you. So call them out, Quinn. I'm with it. I'm with it. One thing I didn't particularly care for, but I think it's just we needed to get through the episode, was the demotion of Tom to like entry level. But then by the end of the episode, he was like back to his old position. I was like, I don't really like that.
It was unnecessary. Like you could have just said, "Go be amongst the people." Like you didn't have
Mm-hmm.
to make this whole to do of like, "Oh, now you're demoted." Like,
Yeah. It was very much undercover boss, and I didn't like that. 'Cause I'm like, there are people who are like truly struggling in entry level. Like, sure, we saw it with Quinn where they've been working under Claire for like 4 years and some months. But like people truly struggle at entry level positions because there's so limited higher up positions or office politics or something. I was like, oh, this is not cool. Like
right? It was
it's
just
actually
so
quite terrible, Tom. I don't like this. Yeah, and for him to make that declaration or whatever, like I'll just make me entry level. It's like okay, that's I can almost see what you're trying to do, but this ain't it. Like
yeah.
whatever. Especially when Zenzi is right there. You trying to have her do your work for you, nigga? She's
No,
like she
nigga,
needs a
no.
raise. Mm-mm. So Claire trying to get Zenzi on Claire's team. What are our thoughts on Claire's tactics?
It's trifling. It's shady. It's
Hey,
underhanded, but I get
ha, same,
it.
same. Yes.
Like, why would you not? Like, it works. It works on multiple levels. Because one,
Mm-hmm.
it's clear that Zenzi is good at what she does. So why
Yep.
would you not get the best people for your team? And then two, if your goal is to undermine Tom, to make it so that Tom is so incompetent that they have to give you the full time
Mm-hmm.
position, why would
Mm-hmm.
you not take pretty much the most competent person on his team?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it just makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was like, oh, this is smart. And the
Hmm.
way they set up Tom and Zenzi's argument of the week, I just knew she was going to join Claire. I was like, all right, yeah, I can see this. But I mean, I like that she didn't. I'm just concerned about what she actually did. Like, how is this gonna pan out? But
Hmm.
it's TV, so she'll probably do well. Um, I can't get over Claire in this suit. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. Brittany, you doing it. You doing it, sis. You doing it. So Lorraine. Okay, two things. So I understand as a parent, there's a frustration when it comes to dealing with your children or your wards who are not doing what they're supposed to do or doing what they're responsible for. I get that. Something about Lorraine, and this may be my bias because I'm like, Lorraine, don't yell at him. Like the way she handled Tom, I'm like, was she just fed up? And it's like, you are really messing up because I feel like it was a lot of digs at him. But also, I'm not a parent and I'm not a mom. So maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Like I I'm to the point where I'm wondering how much of the arguments between let me not even say argument, like the friction between Tom and Lorraine is her actual feelings and how much of it is mind control.
Mm,
Because it, it feels like they have a very different, and I should let this go, but it feels like they have a very different relationship than they had from the pilot. I know we
yeah.
said we should let that go. I know. But like they come back to the same place over and over again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so are you really just really trying to hammer home this idea? Or like, is you mind control? You don't remember trying to have this argument already.
No, I'm with you because I don't know. It's just to me, it's weird because she even made the comment, "Well, maybe I didn't raise you right," and I'm like, "Yes, Tom is an asshole completely, but like, where are we? Like, Tom is to me the same person he was when his dad was there. So, is it that Barton is gone and these issues they seem to have? Not to be funny, the financial issues with the company were these not still happening when Barton was there? Because we are about 7 months from the pilot. Because 6 months he was in space and then here.
Mhm.
What was going on with the company during that time? And like, and maybe I'm thinking too much, too deep into it, but I'm like, what is Tom truly doing wrong when he wasn't? Barton was in control, and so he could do what he wanted to do. Now Claire is in control, even without the mind control, like she was appointed in control, and he's still doing what. Like I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm just not understanding.
If I tried to make it make sense, I could see, like with the patriarch, with the daddy gone,
Mm-hmm.
like now it's more eyes on him. So
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that he could get away with when his daddy was there, he
Okay.
can't get away
Okay.
with no more.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to get led a little bit more to that point,
Come on.
but I could see that being like the end point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could too, and I can accept whatever you give me. It just feels like we're kind of having the same conversation with them over and over. And I do understand, like as a parent, that may be a part of raising your kid, but something. I guess because I know we have 10 episodes, and I'm like, what's going to actually happen from point A to point B? So that may be a me
Right.
thing, but I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of y'all. Like, get it together. Either cut him off completely or like make him go to boot camp or something. Like this isn't it. Uh ugh, it's not. And I'm hoping Lorraine is not fully mind control all the time. I'm really hoping she like this is how she feels. Because I don't know. I don't know. This mind control stuff is kind of tricky. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Ugh. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so I would like to get into Zenzi and her fall from grace, so to speak, where she was once wealthy and then she wasn't, and then the Swifts picked up her tab, and then she went to college, made something of herself as far as career is concerned, came back, and folks are, I guess, still looking down on her like she's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. Not even just because I like Ashley Murray and I like the Zenzi character, but like just in general, I don't get that. But her frustration this episode is with the idea of having to attend the cotillion. Tom makes it painfully clear, hey, I need you to do this to help me so that I can get my father. That's important. That comes back later. But Zenzi walking around like La Femme Nikita with this gold bob, I was like, fam, you don't even. She looks so uncomfortable, not in the way that Ashley is presenting the character, but like, well, no, not the way that Ashley like is acting, but like the character is so upset at
Yeah.
having to be here. And I thought she did a really good job at portraying that, where that made me even more pissed off at Tom. Because like
Yeah.
her body language is showing she's ready to rip somebody's head off.
She hates it here.
Bro. Like the way
She
she was
hates.
walking, that she was a Spider-Man villain. She was not she was like like Ashley, you did that. That
I
was
caught a glimpse of her in the background of some other thing, and I was like, "Oh, she mad bad. She is bad bad."
yo. Yes, Ashley Murray did what she was supposed to do in this role, because in this episode, because my God, oh yeah. So the show introduces things that I wish we could like get a little bit more into, like Isaac and his backstory before, and now even Zenzi with Regina Jackson. And funny enough, I'm more interested in Zenzi's past experience with her than I am with any one of these fictional men. They say she's having like poor choices in dating. I don't care about none of that. What's up
Right.
with Regina, who, might I add, is also 42? She's a beautiful woman, but her and Chris are definitely, I don't know, 43 with a 401k. I was like, what? This is a grown woman. You no shoot. Hey.
I mean, yeah. Somebody, I don't remember who it was that pointed it out, but somebody pointed out, I was like, "Why is she also in a cotillion dress?" Like,
This was weird because I'm like, again, I don't know. I don't know. Culturally, that wasn't what I grew up in, so I don't know. But like, no
but
other adults were wearing that stuff.
yeah, it seems like she would be like I don't know what the word for it is, but she's basically like a mentor. That's what
Yeah.
it seems like. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm thinking about that just on like separating it from the cotillion thing. I'm thinking about if like a mentor came up trying to dress the same way as like the kids are dressed like this. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, let it
Yeah.
go. That was however many years ago for you. Let it go.
Yes. And where's your husband? Why you talking like to? I wanted to look. I don't think anyone's worth is tied up in a partner that you're dating or you're married to. But like you come in here talking about Marcus, she can't keep a man. I'm like, I
Wait,
wanted
yes.
Zenzi to jump on that girl head. I
Yes.
wanted,
Yes.
I was mad. To be quite honest, like this episode truly had me in my feelings, and I was like, "Oh, something is wrong. These people aren't real." Like, it's like relax, relax. No, no, no. Like, kudos to the show because I was truly upset at a lot of this stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this you need to pull back." But Regina Jackson, may her ankles ever be
Never
ashy.
be ashy.
They that was funny.
It was.
But it just makes me want to get to know Zenzi more. Um, because much like Isaac, I feel like what we get from them, we get what we're supposed to get, but we
Mhm.
get them revolving around Tom. And like I enjoyed her on that date. Well, I ain't like Nathan, but I'm happy she has something else to do. But
Yeah.
even that was like revolving around Tom. And maybe there's just not enough time. We have 10 episodes, an hour. But I want more. I want more of Zenzi. I want more.
I feel
Yes,
you.
I
I
do.
feel you.
Yes, I do. So Zenzi's lashing out. She lashes out at this little girl, um, who's in a cotillion dress, and they have a little back and forth. And another thing I'm hoping for, and I may not get it, but I'm hoping that between Quinn and this little girl, like this isn't the last time we'll see them. Like I would love for Zenzi to mentor that little girl. I may be wanting too much, asking too much of the show, but I would love that. I would love to see that.
You have a
Um,
better chance of seeing more of Quinn.
hey, you're right. That's it. You're right. Yes. Ah, my goodness. Um, no Justin this episode.
Surprising, not even a tasteful nude.
Yeah, I was a little let down.
Yeah,
Times with writers, you set a precedent, and I
you
feel
gotta
like you're
follow.
falling off.
Mhm.
Every episode, we should be seeing some,
Everyone.
yeah, some beautiful bodies. Yeah. Um, so the Cotillion is the backdrop for this episode between the Cotillion and Swift Enterprises. While we're at Swift Enterprises, Tom gets an alert from Barclay, which is he the only person who can hear Barclay? Because that man be loud. Um, like what is happening? So we get an alert that there has been a package delivered in for Tom. Now that Tom has taken a demoted position, but Claire went and opened his mail, which ain't that a federal offense opening
It
someone
is.
else's mail?
It is.
Send her to jail. She's committed two heinous crimes. Get her out of here. God. And it's a piece of Barton's ship. Now I didn't come up with this, but somebody mentioned on Twitter, and I'm so mad I don't have that person's name. I think I retweeted it though. That because that particular piece was sent to Tom with no return address, it's probably Nancy Drew that sent that to him. What do you think?
Hmm.
But then, if you know Nancy, would she not put her address? Wait, okay, that just fell apart for me. Wait a minute. It's like Nancy, she would put her address. You brought her a ball main dress. Like,
You did. I
hmm.
would have. I think I still think this. I thought it came from Rowan. Maybe that's my
Mm,
bias for him to
why
be
did I not
involved.
know? Like, what is going on? Like, today has been a day for me. I have truly become a fourth grader today because nothing is really connecting for me. I wonder. I didn't even think of that.
Like my thought is either he sent it to set him up,
Okay.
or he like legit sent it because he came across it in some sort of way. Maybe when he was out killing somebody for the road back. I With the way that this episode ended, I think the second one makes the most sense, but it
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rowan too. I'm gonna just go with it because, like, that makes more sense. He knows Nancy. He's been to her house. Like, why wouldn't she put her address? So yeah, and she wouldn't think to make something a secret. Oh my god, that literally
And
fell
also,
apart for
also,
me.
and also, how would she know that that's his?
Do you see what I mean? Like, what is happening with me? Like that. That should not have. I shouldn't even. If this went live, I might cut this out. No, I'm not. But like, what is happening? I was like, yeah, that sounds good. No, that does not sound good. Jesus Christ.
You know what? I'm actually kind of glad now that you don't have this person's ad because
Yeah, oh yeah. So let me go retweet their stuff. Don't dogpile them. They were well intentioned. I don't know. It was probably like a 14-year-old kid. Like yes, yeah, little Miss TikTok. So this happens. I would like to discuss and shout out to JJ. Now I have seen Bel Air. I have not seen Our Kind of People. And so there is a conversation about this show kind of being a amalgamation of those two shows. And does that affect your viewing experience, or is like, no, it's just another, type of just another show. And for me, having not seen Our Kind of People, but understanding how you can get something that feels like it's two or three different things, I'd say no, because I think I'm in the camp that there's only so many stories to be told already. It's just kind of where you put your spin on it. But that is interesting if that's like what people are seeing. It's like, oh, this is a combination of these two shows. But I wonder if that would cheapen your experience.
I don't think so because, like you said, like everything you can compare everything to anything. Even Bel Air, when they first showed the thing, people was like, "Oh, this is all American."
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
So yeah, it because I also haven't seen Our Kind of People. It doesn't bother me at all. But I feel like even if it did, I'd be like, okay, so we can draw a comparison.
I can see that. But yeah, and then another thing is, I think, and even having not seen Our Kind of People, I think when it comes to depicting this like Black excellence, Jack and Jill, extremely wealthy space, you are going to, even if it was about white folks, I think it would still hit a lot of the same like storylines, a lot of the same beats, because there's certain things that just doesn't make sense if these people are wealthy. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's only so many shows that's about like super rich Black people. So
so yeah, they're going to have that bit of overlap, but I just wonder. That's something I want to kind of pay attention to for the rest of the season, is if that's still the story, because I think even if that's the case, that may be a good jumping off point. And that's a way that a lot of people like pitch certain things, like, oh, my book is Cinderella meets Boys in the Hood. It's like, oh, that's interesting. What does that look like? And in the beginning or at its inception, it may be that thing, but like, give it time, it becomes its own thing. So
I'm really trying to think what that looks like.
Hey, no, you and me both, because I'm like, who is actually, is it Trey? Like, who's Cinderella? What is happening? So yeah, but that would actually make for a good little movie.
I'm legit trying to think what that looks like.
I mean,
that story out there. Hold on.
Boys in the Hood. No, but yeah, so I think that there may be an argument for it, because again, there's only so many stories, or especially when you get to this niche of like wealthy Black folks. But I think it'll be okay, especially because you have these characters or these actors like Marquise Vilson and like Ashley Murray and T.N. Richards, who are like breathing life into these characters. And also, even if we want to say, yes, this is that combination, look at the target audience for Tom Swift. You do have young adults, maybe like late teens to young adult to, maybe, I don't know, 30s. So I don't think they're going at the same exact audience. There may be some overlap, but I think it'll be okay.
I also don't know much about, like I said, I don't know much about Our Kind of People.
Mm-hmm.
I do know about Bel Air.
Yeah.
They ain't going after the gay folk like this show is.
Baby. Yes. Because these homosexuals is homosexual. They are doing it. These pansexuals is pansexual. Like the heteros is heteroids. Like these folks is doing the do. No, you're absolutely right. And another thing, if I can just like gush over the show for a second, is that there are those like small things like Rowan's nails, like some of the vocabulary they're using, like even and not just with like what straight people or like society at large would understand, like oh they them and this and that. No, it's like using language from this community that's just like folded in or other people are quote unquote responsible for when no that's not the case. Learn your history. I don't know, man. So you're right. That's a very strong point right there. They not doing the gays like this gays is doing the gays. So you
Not
know,
at all.
yeah, that's that. Um Tom.
Oh,
This boy, I was so with Tom for parts of this episode, but Tom is gonna be Tom. If at nothing else, he's consistent.
yeah, yeah. I you gotta give him that, I guess.
So okay, so Tom adjacent because I still want to stick with him. But when Isaac put on the Tom image enhancer from Nightcrawler or whatever, something happened, and I don't know if this was executed well or if I'm just thinking too much. If you remember, Isaac went down to the living room or whatever so he could see Lorraine, and when he stood like in the room, the waiter came by him, and this man like kind of touched his back and not even caressed, but kind of moved his hand down. Now, I read that one way, but I rewatched it. I was like, oh, I don't think this is what they had in mind. That man, though we didn't see a full on face shot, looked like the Hispanic guy that's working for Nathan. Like that one that twisted that man's neck in the first episode. The one that was about to beat up Zenzi for that dinner, like that Hispanic guy. That's what he looked like. But when I ran it back, it was like I think it's just supposed to be a waiter. Because Isaac says, like, how many people do he have groping him? Or how many people was groping this guy? But the way the guy did it was kind of stiff. So I was like, did he just put a mark on this man to like mess up his image? Maybe I was too in the weeds, but I was like, Nathan has sent this man in. So I think I'm wrong, but I'm mad that I'm wrong because I'm like, I want to see what like. Oh, I don't know. I'm mad.
That would be interesting.
I'm mad.
That would
I'm
definitely
so mad. I'm mad. I know we have our fan theories, but I'm mad. I wanted that to be the case because I don't know. I'm mad.
I just thought that meant Tom probably fooled around with the waiter.
Yeah,
that was as far as I went.
I figured. And the thing is, I thought that with Quinn. Like, how did I think that with Quinn initially, but not with this guy? I was like, oh, Quinn mad because they messed around. He's like, no, you're mad because you're ruining my job. So,
Yes. Yeah, no, I didn't get that from like I immediately got I said, oh, they do not like you. Like they do not like you at all.
At all. Yeah, no. This is very much Devil Wears Prada and you're Miss Priestley. That's who you are. Oh my god. And that's what he get. And I tweeted that and Tim was like, I feel seen. So, check my tweets. So but yeah, so shout out to him for doing such a good job. So I'll say that as frustrated as I am with Tom in a lot of these episodes, I think that just goes to show that Tien is doing a really good job at like being this rich asshole. Like so kudos
and
to him.
it's for me, like I want to kind of go back to something that you said earlier. You mentioned, like how when you see like the female characters like villainous or what have you, you swap them out for a man and be like, how do I feel the same way?
Yeah.
I find myself doing that, not just with Tom, but with other characters and other shows too. Like, if I switch this person out for, I'm gonna say for a white person, like, am I still as pressed at how they acting, or do I like accept it? Because Tom is very much giving Tony Stark.
Yes.
And I'm just like, well, if we can build the whole MCU off of him, I can let him be a rich asshole.
Yeah. No. You're right. I think it may be that we don't get that often. So when you
Yeah.
do see it, it may be a bit jarring.
Yeah.
And so I think, like you said, if we could accept Tony Stark for what is it, 13, 14, 15 years, whatever, like we could definitely accept Tom. And it's maybe hard to, because you don't want to see black folks presented in a way that's like so unkind, but like all of us aren't great. Like,
Yeah.
and even those of us who are great, we have our moments. So it's like, yeah, I can accept that. He is still an asshole, but I can
Yeah.
accept that a bit more. Yeah, yeah. And that actually helps me to accept him a bit more. Um yeah, yeah. Cause I'm kind of processing this live, like as we speak, and I think that I am okay. I'm still frustrated with Tom, mainly, and it's not even like the rich asshole part, it's the part with Zenzi specifically. That's the thing that's killing me. That's it.
It's, you said the argument of the week, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, can go to therapy. Y'all need to go to couples therapy.
Yes, no, truly, truly, truly.
Like, y'all got some money. Go sit down and talk to somebody.
Um, that's annoying. So let's get into that.
Okay.
So I mentioned earlier that Tom is like, "Hey, Zenzi, my dad is in space, doing this, going to the cotillion against your better desires because you know how this is triggering for you. I want you to go, please, to help me." And she agrees.
Mhm.
Zenzi has her run in with Regina George's black alternate variant self, and has, I don't want to say a breakdown, kind of has anxiety, for lack of a better term. Like she's trying to calm herself down, which is better than what I would have done, because we would have been rolling around on Lorraine's good leather. But
Not as good as she was
good,
going to Nathan.
so so I think it made me feel for Zenzi, because I think everyone, no matter where you are financially in your life, age, whatever, you have probably run into a situation where you had to bite your tongue for the better good, but like if you could,
It'd be a whole
um,
other ballgame.
and Ashley did her fucking job.
Mhm.
Ashley did her job. She showed up that day and like she clocked in. She clocked in early
Mhm.
and was like, "Yeah, I'm here to work." And she did, because if you look at Zenzi in the beginning of the episode and then you watch her during her blonde bob era, it's like it's very clear that's
Yeah.
Sasha Fierce. That's two different people. That's not the same
Mhm.
person. And I think that's, oh my god, kudos to her. Ashley,
Yeah.
you did it.
She
Um
put on the armor for that. She was
mhm.
ready to go.
Yes, yes. She definitely was given that early 2000s pop girl about to shoot a video. And I love it. I love it. So yeah, so she did that. She walked out to remove herself from any mess. What really kind of heightened this for me is that when Tom approached her, it wasn't like, damn it, Tom, sister. It was like, okay, give me a minute. I need to calm down. Give me, like, she's telling you what she needs. She's saying out her mouth what it is that she needs. It's not, Tom, I need you to go whoop this girl's ass. I need you to go give me some $1,000 quail egg. It's like, give me a second. Just give me a second. I need to process this. And like, that I
Yeah.
was disgusted. I
It was
was.
unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Like it was so unnecessary
Mhm.
because honestly, truthfully, if you want to turn this back around, it's like what you
Oh,
stressed at the time is a
come
you
on,
problem.
come on, come
This
on.
is something that you messed up that
Yes.
now you got to deal with. Really ain't none of this got shit to do with me. So it's I don't know. I don't know. I Tom got to put his head out his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. Honestly and truthfully, um, okay. Oh, I'm looking down because I'm okay. So, um, Deadline Hollywood ugh, just announced via Twitter that Tom Swift is canceled by the CW after one season. Of
Wait, are you
course,
for real?
yeah, like just JJ kind of sent it to me, and then I found, oh my god. I do want to read through this. As package comes to an end, squabbles over grandfather projects likely to continue. Tom Swift canceled by CW after one season. The low oh they are really the low rated. So they say Nancy Drew spinoff only launched on May 31st. The series, which features predominantly black cast, started off as an unconventional backdoor pilot with only Teen Richards getting an introduction, blah blah blah. We hear CBS Studios, which is behind Tom Swift, is trying to extend the option on the cast and plans to shop the series elsewhere. The show's speedy demise comes as Next Star Media's group pursuit of majority control of CW nears completion. Canceling Tom Swift, which has been publishing content boundaries off network TV about a billionaire inventor, thrust into world sci-fi. Besides Richards, it stars Ashley Murray, April Parker Jones, Marquise Vasson, Christopher B. Duncan, LeVar Burton. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. This is
Hmm.
this is
I have. Hmm. Hmm.
yeah.
I have several thoughts.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many of them are appropriate for air.
Hey. I said, say what you gotta say. I stand behind whatever feelings you have, because
Hmm. See, this is one of those things where, once again, we have an example of stories being cut short, people getting
mm-hmm.
sad. Because, see, I've watched a lot of these shows that the CW has put out, and
Yep.
I've been doing, this whole sort of thing with this merger, with this next star. You cannot convince me that these people who have bought this network are not bigots at this point.
Mm.
Every single with no, every single show that they have canceled has either had PLC lead, queer lead,
Mm-hmm.
or both. Several of them do better than the shows they've kept on air.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to go back and look at the exact numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Swift may actually be doing better than Nancy Drew.
Hmm.
So it really just begs the question to me:
Mm-hmm.
what are you really doing? Like, what are you really saying? Like, what are you really prepping yourself for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, truly. Like, so I don't. It's weird for every reason you just said, and then some. And my argument has always been, let's for just for conversation's sake, let's say Tom Swift is a bad show, like it's just not good. How many other shows out there that have no black folks or token black folks, and not even just black, like other people of color, like as dominant majority cast, are out there that you can point to? Because why should one show, because it does have a lot of representation, it checks a lot of boxes, sure, why should it have to like carry the weight of doing everything so well? This again is operating under the assumption that, okay, in this example, Tom Swift is bad. Why should this one show have to be so phenomenal and work 2-3 times as hard to get with these other shows that are melanin deficient are getting renewed for hand over fist. Um, I didn't like the way Black Lightning was handled. I do understand that when it comes to the creative team, it's not always them. You do have mandates from higher ups. You're working with a particular company who has a vision for X, Y, and Z, but you can't keep cutting at. I don't, it's like going into a comic book store and you seeing nothing but Superman and Batman. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I see their big names. And then you got Wonder Woman as well. I mean, not include her. But then when it comes to these black, brown, disabled, marginalized characters, it's like, oh, we'll create your own characters. What we do, and then what happens? Tom, though he is a reimagining of a quote unquote American classic, who was truly reading Tom Swift before Nancy Drew season 2, episode 15, The Celestial Visitor? I think of season 2. Before that episode, who was reading and a diehard Tom Swift stan of like the original iteration?
Hell, people who were diehard Nancy Drew stands didn't even know that that man existed for
real. And like
to build on your analogy, it's like going to the store and seeing nothing but and having nothing but the Superman's, Batman's, Wonder Woman's, dropping a John Stewart Green Lantern in there, and then deciding to take it off the shelves, but it doesn't immediately do like sell the same numbers. It was like this because we barely halfway through the season. It's like you didn't even, and I hate to say I was nervous about this because you didn't even give the show a chance. Like you more likely probably just pushed the show out because it was already filmed. They probably had this thought that they were going to do this regardless.
Yeah.
Like even if the show had fantastic numbers, and from what I've seen, they're not bad, at least not for the network.
Right, there we go. Yep.
So it's like it's like you had this thought process that you wanted your network to be white as hell, to be straight as hell, not realizing that half the reason why your network exists is because of the POC, the queer folk that have been keeping this thing afloat.
You were already built off the backs of CW, of UPN and WB, and then even when you ditch black folks and now have your own, to light the fight tooth in the wind, white ass programming, it was still like you got these people who are starving for this representation. What's homegirl name? I'm sorry, I'm a little frustrated. I don't want to get her name wrong. On the Flash, Iris, the actress.
The actress,
so the mess that she's dealt with.
Yeah.
Kat Graham, the stuff that she's like, it's so many.
Hell, Ashley Murray.
And that's even okay. So let's kind of take a step back. So even let's put Ashley as like a through line. I used to watch Riverdale. That was the first show I ever reviewed. So no matter how terrible and wild it get, it has a special place in my heart. But there was clear. It was clear how horribly they were handling things at Riverdale, and yet they're renewed for a 7th season. So you're going on your 7th season of just haphazard chaos. And the 3 black women that you have, because nobody said that Josie and the Pussycats had to be black. You made that decision to make them black for this show. And you find a way to then get rid of everyone but Josie, which to me makes no sense, even if you're just looking at lore. Yeah, we can change stuff up, change races, gender, sexualities, but like at its core, Josie and the Pussycats was a group of Josie and the Pussycats. So now that you have these 3 black girls on camera being 3 black girls, because you don't have them anywhere else, you then get rid of 2 of them? Like, what do you mean? You barely give them lines. You get rid of them for some asinine ass reason. Then one of them had a brother, so you also had another black character who he just wrote out. Then every black man, therefore, like the black guy who Archie met in child/adult jail, he was like getting his. It's like, what is happening over there? Like who?
Right. And it frustrates me even more because even with as fucked up as that is,
Yeah.
We at least had that.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to turn away from the CW and look at some of these other networks, they ain't even got that.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to the beginning, to the first question you asked, like, okay, so now what?
Yeah.
So like, because and I'm gonna tie this a bit back to like the Arrowverse. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
that's my line through CW is
Okay.
through the Arrow. Like one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much is because it was doing the type of stuff that Marvel, because maybe because it was owned by Disney or who knows,
Yeah.
was not doing. You're giving me queer leads. You're giving me black characters. Yes, Black Panther was amazing. It was a cultural event. That was one movie. It
Huh.
came and gone. I'm gonna say I was able to sit here and enjoy Black Lightning. You know, I tried Naomi for a minute. You know, I had when they retooled Batwoman, we had that. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
had these queer folks. We're still waiting on Marvel to do something to have somebody gay somewhere. So it becomes this thing where I don't think people really recognize what's happening here. It's like you're losing an entire section of people. You're cutting them off at the knees, and for why? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to say, oh well, it's because they're not doing this or they're not doing that, and not recognizing that you have people each and every day who don't even want to believe. Don't want to believe that queer folks exist, that they have lives to live, who still avoid black folks and other POC. So yeah, you gotta be a bit more lenient. I'm sorry, that is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get into a history lesson to explain it? We can do that.
Come on. And
But
why
the
not? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, but the thing that really just drives me up a wall is that you're getting rid of this show, and there is no other like it. It
No, at
wouldn't
all.
it wouldn't it wouldn't bother me so much if I could say, well, okay, well maybe I can at least watch this on a Netflix or turn to CBS and see that. There's nothing else like this. It's an intentional thing at this point. It's intentionally erasing all of these stories so that everything that we watch, everything that we engage with, everybody that we talk to, everybody that we see day in, day out, look like my wall.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's really it's sad. It truly is, and it's I don't know. This hit me harder than I don't know. I'm really kind of going through it. Yeah, I'm really kind of going through it because I don't know. Even aside from like the content of the show, I'm thinking these folks is out of a job.
Yes.
For what? Like the costume designer, the writers, the actors, hair and makeup. And one thing that, and this ain't like a shameless plug, but one thing that I kind of focused on in that article that I wrote, Why Everyone Should Be Watching Tom Swift, focused on the behind the scenes aspect. The very fact that you have this black ass show where you can see these different black hairstyles and they're maintained and it doesn't look weird, where you have a black team that is putting care into taking care of the actors in that way. Because as we found out a couple years ago, a lot of actors and actresses who are black just have to take care of their own hair or deal with someone who only deals with white hair. And so they're cutting this or they're styling you in a way that's making you look crazy. So I don't know. It's like where do we where do we go from here now?
Right. Right. It's not even a couple years ago. I watched some snippets of an actors roundtable on YouTube from
Yeah.
like, if not early this year, late last year.
Good
That
lord.
still goes on. That still happens
Yeah.
right now. Like the people, oh, what was that show? Oh, what was that show? It was some show I was watching. I mean, it was some show that I watched that the act. Oh, it was freaking WandaVision. Where
Come on. Tiana
what's
Paris.
her name? Huh?
Tiana Paris.
Yes, she was talking about having to gather, like her hair team because
Yeah.
they couldn't do nothing
Yeah.
with it. Like she was giving them shout outs because I'm gonna say because she had to like to get the people together to have her looking on the thing. And
Look
again,
at
that's
these
a
women.
Marvel project.
Yeah, right.
That's a
Like
Disney indie project with buku money.
Ain't no way. There's no way. Like, oh, the shit. And I think it's really dragging me down because it is so much deeper than just canceling Tom Swift. Like, it's yes, this is sad, and I'm upset for everyone involved. But like, all of the, I don't think people understand, and I probably don't even understand completely. But the amount of work and effort, and how many people actually touch a TV series. We may have a better idea than most because we like comics, so we understand that comic ain't just somebody drawing. There's like 462 people that touch one issue, so I get that. But man, this is heavy.
And I think at least in this instance, so it would be true regardless. I think particularly in this instance, because both of us have interacted with people who work behind this show, it's like this isn't just like numbers. This isn't just like some imaginary idea. Like these is real deal, real ass people that are now out of a job. And for what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for what? Like, I guess my hope now is that this show is picked up by somebody. Because I just, these folks, T.N. Richards, I think, well, and I'm saying him specifically because he's the star, the headline, main character, but this is true for everyone. But I think T.N. deserves a project. He deserves to be working on something. And I hope that when all this stuff is finalized, like this isn't it for him. And everyone else, but again, because it's Tom, I want to be clear, because the show is Tom Swift, I'm focusing on him. But like, what the fuck is next? I don't want to see T.N. Richards being a side character, a side queer character on some damn, I don't know, some shit where he's not the star. I don't want to see that. I mean, like whatever gets him his
bills. Sure. Exactly. Pay your bills, get your job. Sure, of course. Do what you got to do. But I think I can say we sick of that. We sick of that. We sick of having to wait. Is this character going to show up this week? Like, are they going to say more than 3 lines in this episode?
Mm-hmm.
We sick of that, bro. Like, it's long past time out for that. It's long past time out for that.
Yeah, it is. And we got a black man who looks black. This man, from his lips, from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet, this is a black man. He is a queer black man who is interacting romantically, sexually as well, but romantically on camera with other black men who look like black men. There are not many, if any, and I'm not including like the web shows and the indie shows because they're on fire. They're doing what needs to be done. But speaking specifically about network programming, I'm not seeing black men who are queer, who look black, not racially ambiguous, dealing with other actually black men, and also in a lead role.
Yeah.
In a lead role where they can be fucking gay and they can just still build a fucking spaceship. Like, like they can still just do the things that other folks just do. So I
want to speak on the whole thing because, as somebody who does like indie storytelling, indie books, looks at web series, all those sorts of things like that you do on your own, I don't want it to come across like we're downplaying that because we're not
at all.
But the fact remains that there's a different level of push, there's a different level of visibility that comes from being able to turn on my television, go to this app and watch this show.
Yeah.
Versus me having to scroll through YouTube for 4 or 5 pages to try to find, what I'm looking for.
Right. Absolutely.
And we deserve both.
No, truly, like I want to live in a world where Tangerine was made on somebody's iPhone, and we
Yeah.
do have a Tom Swift, and we have some dramatic ass web series about made shot by some gay folks who just wanted to get some shit out, and then several other very clearly black ass shows being put on that involve the queer experience, the LGBTQI experience that isn't side character, butt of a joke, B plot, special gay episode, like. And that also is about black folks and not black folks who are just always constantly paired up with a white partner.
Speak on it. Speak
I
on
feel like
it.
that's not too much to ask for. So again, I want to reiterate what you said. This is not, and by no means is it downplaying anything indie, because that stuff does exist, and there is a push for those things. But when we're looking at things at large, Tom Swift had a much wider reach than maybe an indie web series, because that's something that's on network TV. And everybody and their mama got a TV in their house. Everybody and their mama don't look for YouTube series. They don't look for indie series. They may come across it, but and also when it comes to indie things, the issues, I'll say, are very different. You could very much shoot a web series and then stop on season 2 because maybe you need to plan stuff out. Maybe an actor left, so you got to switch them out. Like there's still control there. Here, it's just gone, and that's that. Like, when will we see a Tom Swift again?
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know. Somebody has something to say. What y'all got going on over here? Hold on. Andres Sante, what's up, friend? So you've commented some things. Let's see if there's anything. Okay, here we go. So Andre says, I can't even take people seriously when they say Tom Swift isn't good, because they're giving support to equally or lesser quality shows on the CW. Which, yes. Because I feel like say that. And again, I'm happy them folks are getting a check, but even they seem like they're tired. You holding them hostage. Let them go.
They hate it.
Let them go.
And I'm gonna say, and I'll say this for me as somebody who has been with the Arrowverse since 2016. The Flash is still on television.
Hey, yes, I saw a trailer for that 40 times the other night.
I would say, like, Candace Patton is over it. They pretty much had to beg that lady to sign on for this last season.
I bet, and I hope
Grant
they
Gustin is over it. Yes, they are over it.
Oh my god!
But you are dragging these dead bodies along and throwing them on this goddamn television,
fam, and not even giving them hair and makeup. They still got to do their own. What the fuck? So yeah, this is, oh my goodness. Yeah, and I guess for me, I look at Tom Swift, if we're going to use this argument, the same way I look at Empire. If you truly do not like the show, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I think you're well within your rights for that. No matter what the reason, if it's because the gays on screen, because you don't like the writing, if it's predictable, whatever, that's fine. But my thing is, why can't it exist? Everything black doesn't have to be this damn extremely over the top, deep, thought provoking. It can just be a gay nigga trying to find his daddy in outer space. Like, it can be that. And if we're going to talk about Empire, whatever insults you may have for it, it can just be a musical as black family with soap opera drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even Tyler Perry, I don't, I have my issues with some of his work, but I'm happy that it exists, because we should be able to have a Medea as well as have an Equalizer, as well as have a Tom Swift. Like, we should be able to have all of this stuff. One show should not have to carry the weight of all of these things. So what? Bruh. Oh, Andre says people aren't giving the show a chance and they aren't talking about it, and it's not being promoted by anyone but diehard fans and the writers, which is, I see no lies. We had the conversation, I think last week or the week before, about folks, even queer folks, who were like, "Oh, I ain't with this show because, of course he would he's the bull and he's with this like soft light skin guy. Yeah, okay.
It was a stupid complaint in the first place.
That was again, you could not like the show, but like that just wasn't right. That was incorrect. That was factually incorrect. And
Yes.
so to use that as your basis, like, oh, I don't like this is like I don't like WandaVision because Wanda is a Latino woman who was born in Canada. That's not true. That's not true. What are you talking about? It's like your disdain for the show is just coming from lies you've made up. Like if you watch the first episode, you can see that that's a lie. So
And
like,
that's what happens. See, that's what happens when people take these hate watchers viewpoints and just run with them.
yeah.
They take these people who watch one trailer, one clip, not even a clip,
Mhm.
one GIF, a
Mhm.
20-second video,
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, I hate this because this, and this." And they're like, "Oh, yep,
Mhm.
they're right."
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird. Like everyone is in a rush to get the scoop, to be first with this and to have this opinion. So it's like, are you even putting in the effort that it takes to like get to know the show? Like again, don't get me wrong. If you don't like the show, you don't like it. I don't think should be forced to like it. I also don't think you're homophobic for not liking the show, depending on your reasons. But like that's the same that can be said for everything else. But yet we still have several seasons of shows that are much less than.
Riverdale is. I'm never gonna let it go. Riverdale is still on television.
Yo, and
I
they
saw a commercial for
mm,
Riverdale when
yep.
Tom Swift was on. That was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no, it was an advertisement for it. It was like Sabrina is coming back because we need to find a way to revive such and such, so they still have their abilities. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all?
Yes,
I
yes.
thought this was a goddamn slice of life comic. Why do
Mhm.
people have superpowers now? Why do we have
And
Sabrina bringing people back from the dead?
see, my thing with Riverdale is that honestly, this stuff is not unheard of because Archie Comics has done a lot of weird shit. But I guess my thing is that's not the way that the show was presented to the audience. And so
Mhm.
even if you were going to pivot and take that transition to all these other places, it's like this ain't Twin Peaks. Like I don't think it was executed well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe their fan base is just so die hard, but again, like Riverdale, glad y'all got a job, but like, how is Riverdale? How did Riverdale exist at first and still surpass Black Lightning? You know, what I'm saying? Like it, like Black Lightning was a blip on the timeline that is Riverdale. Like it's like, and apparently Tom Swift too. Like how? How?
Especially because you said you glad that the people have a job. They not. They not glad they got a job.
When I tell you, didn't Veronica? I feel like she was in like two other movies. The actress that plays Veronica, I feel like I've seen her in other stuff. Like happier. Well, not in that's subjective, but I'm like, maybe she looks a
Whichever,
little happier.
like whichever Sprouse twin that is that's on the show,
Let
like
him go. Let him go.
he
Get him
he
out of
been
that
on this damn show
contract.
longer than he was on Disney Channel.
Oh my god. I let that man go. He is 40 now. All of them. All of them. They're all 40. Everyone. Let them love their family. But my god, this is I don't know. And I'm even coming down hard on Riverdale, and I won't ever, not whatever. I'll still keep doing it. But again, I'm happy them folks had a job. But I think Riverdale feeds into the aesthetic that CW would want,
Yeah.
where even the brown people are light enough to not be threatening, but dark enough to be a little different. That's
I
what
mean,
that's like me.
I'll because I don't watch Riverdale, I'll step away from Riverdale and I'll say The Flash. The Flash is still on television. I I'm subscribed to some reactors that watch this show, and
hmm
they put up a poll at the end of every episode to see, just to engage the fan base, whatever.
Yeah.
Their poll for this season finale was, "No, but really, do you understand what's going on?" That is exactly what this poll says.
Yeah.
It is like, do you understand what's happening?
Fuck.
The fact that people who have been watching this show since it premiered
Yeah.
have to ask this to diehard fans of the show who've been watching alongside them should tell you how much your show has gone off the rails.
Yeah. because I saw a trailer and I'm not a fan Flash watcher, so I was like, okay, I think Kid Flash, I see Barry Allen, I see his daughter. I know that's his biracial daughter from like the future. And then like Reverse Flash, I was like, didn't this nigga die 4 seasons ago?
This
Why is
nigga
he
died
still here?
season. Every season.
He can't keep being the big bad. Tobias Whale, what is happening? God damn! Like I was like, okay, nigga. I mean, get your money too, but like, can we do something different with this nigga? So I don't know.
It's frustrating.
Um,
It's irritating.
yeah.
If nothing else, this has definitely made me become an avid CW hater. Like I'm going to be dragging these people every chance I get with
Mm-hmm.
every breath in my body.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because honestly, and when the smoke clears, I want to look at what does CW's programming look like in a year from now. Like,
Why?
like truly,
Right.
that's to be expected. You know, that
Trump
goes without
program.
saying. But like, what programs? Like, are we getting? What's that show? I ain't gonna say the full name, but so and so in Paris. That weird Netflix show. Like, are we gonna get stuff like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do we? And I don't know. It just. I mean, I watch other stuff, sure, but like, what's giving me this?
Nothing. Like
Yeah. Madeline Mantog left the new Charm because she felt the white villain's redemption arc was overtaking the performance. Oh, so I'm sorry, the prominence of the leads, three women of color. I don't watch Charm, but Andre, I'm gonna take your word for it because why would you lie? But yeah, another case in point.
one of my good friends watched the Charm reboot, and he like talked about it for a good minute. About
Mm-hmm.
like how they had a lot of great ideas. Of course, not all of them executed to the best of
Mm-hmm.
their ability,
Mm-hmm.
but the show itself, was fine. But and honestly, even though it fell into that same trap of replacing the elder sisters just like the original did,
Mm-hmm.
it probably would have kept going if apparently CW didn't decide that they want to appeal to Trumpers.
Mm-hmm. This leads me to think, what's next? Like, do we have to go to HBO Max? And if that's the case, like, some people don't have cable, some people don't have all these streaming apps, and I don't want to. Is it like, oh well, we're not catering to them? It's like,
I'm not even as and HBO Max is my favorite streaming service.
mm-hmm.
I'm not even 100% comfortable in them because they cancel Generation.
Again, another show like Generation was good. What do you? Oh, this weird times. Like, what are we like? Are we going into a renaissance, but in the most negative way possible? Like,
I'm starting
Beyonce?
to wonder. I'm
Hmm.
starting to wonder
Yeah, because this is.
because it's and it's of course we're talking about CW now because that's what it's where this
Yeah.
is rooted in, but it's across the board. Like I saw an article today about people like what's that man name? Chris Evans had to make a statement to tell people that he does not want to come back to be Captain America.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Anthony
Anthony
Mackie
Mack.
is Captain America now,
Mm-hmm.
and you got people legitimately angry at him.
Yeah, this is weird times. Like we were in this space where it was like, oh, what a time to be a nerd, and now it's like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is happening? Like,
exactly.
truly, what is happening? Like at this point, the content I consume has to be from like content creators at this point. Like, cause what you know, I don't know. I'm really, I'm dealing with this. This is hitting me hard. This is really on my chest. Um, Okay, Andre says fans of the Flash drag the show every day. Most people don't think it's been good since season 2. Why does Tom only get 10 episodes? And that's weird. And again, and I do understand. So, okay, folks listening who may be new to me and his brand and whatnot, I understand that no matter how much anger I have as a fan, there are some things that are just different. Like, you know, I don't know, a show being greenlit in 2022 may be very different from 2017. So I understand intellectually that there are those differences there, and there's that room for error. There's that room for, you know, coincidences that just look bad. But when it's always this same practice, so even if this Tom Swift thing here was just a coincidence of like shit that happened, that does not erase its impact in the long line of things like this happening already or have been in the past. So it's like you're regardless to what the circumstances surrounding it is, the result is still the same. It's canceled. So like who I want to say who cares, but like it's still a loss. Um and I love the Flash even when I don't, and I'm not saying it has to be canceled. I'm just saying why doesn't it get years to prove itself? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. When something is black specifically, but also POC or handicap or marginalized, it's like, oh, well, people aren't listening to this, so get rid of that. People aren't. But like, what do you expect, especially when the advertisement? How much advertisement has gone to this series? Me and you.
Yeah. And even on like the larger scale, like you mentioned the whole Canva thing. It was like, okay, like that's one thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. This is interesting. This is Andre continues, I have a good idea of how TV and film works on a technical level, and I actually can see the effort going into every script. Good, good, good. Into every episode. The enthusiasm by the people behind it is palatable. Yes, yes, indeed. And TN has used his talent to tell the story and struggle of being black and gay before Tom Swift being Mary Jane. And I was happy for him to get to bring that to the forefront for the rest of us. And it's
Like, just for me, just to speak on that for a second, that's how I
mm-hmm,
was introduced to him. Like,
mm,
and he was a side character then. He was in maybe 3 episodes.
okay.
But it was something very honest, very earnest about like his portrayal of this character that was struggle with themselves, looking for a mentor, and
Uh-huh.
was able to get it, in this show. So him having the opportunity to now make that into a lead role, I don't want to see him go back to have to be like that role of being Mary Jane. Great role, love the character. Like I said, it made me like the actor.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't have to make that step backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree because, like, truly, what and okay, I'm trying to say these things in a way where I'm not, where it doesn't sound like I'm slamming anybody or like disrespect anybody intentionally. And I'm not, this not even say, oh, I don't think Tia can get another role, but it's like this role, is he going to get something that is like this?
Yeah.
That, I mean, I guess the question is, does he even want it after this experience? But like, assuming that he does, will he get something like this? Marquise, like, where is he? What I want to see him in something next. Don't give me some side character. Like, I don't know, man. And even Ashley, like, watching her on Riverdale, because that's where I was introduced to her. And then I think she was on Katie Keene. And oh, did she have? I think there was one other show that I'm aware of. And then this, it's like, give these folks something that they can like go to and do and be the center, be the star for more than a year, more than
Yeah.
a season. Give me 4 or 5 seasons. Give me something. I don't know. Maybe this is just the nature of the business. Like to them, it's nothing. Like, oh, what happened? Now I just got to find another job. Maybe that's it, but it's not that for me as a fan.
No. No.
Right. Seeing someone who Andre continues, seeing someone who looks like him as the intelligent, affluent, capable, sharp lead of a show has really made a difference in my life. Yes, I agree. I think it's, I think that's clear. Your activity on Twitter shows that. They don't understand how much people need this show. Candace Patton says she'd be available for all of 8 seasons of The Flash, and they still sideline her. She's a lead. She's the Flash's wife, and they still sideline her. This is what black leads. See, what black leads are dealing with. The oh no, go ahead.
I could write a. I'm not even like I could. Okay, words Marky. I could write a book
Mm-hmm.
on the treatment of Candace Patton, like the stuff that that lady has had to deal with that I've seen with my own eyes,
Mm-hmm.
just watching this show and interacting with with fandom of it. The stuff that this lady has to deal with, them people, they can't be human.
Yeah.
The way that people treat that lady, she should be she's a saint. The fact that she hasn't just like lost her shit
Mm-hmm.
and just started busting people upside the head for some of the
Mm-hmm.
shit that they say to that lady, that it I am in awe of her patience every day.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she has dealt with this and has stuck to this and has taken this experience and used it to try to help other people coming into this environment.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me. It's utterly baffling to me that people can treat another person like that.
Mm-hmm. And how long is this going to continue? Because even if we are, let's just say, go back to the predominantly white spaces where these characters are token. If we can look at Percy Jackson's reboot for a second, all
Yeah.
three of them well, two out of the three main characters outside of Percy were race bent, but only
Mhm.
one of them got that backlash up the ass, and she's a 12-year-old girl.
That is a
Like,
child. That is a baby.
so what are you like?
These folk ain't human. These folk. I don't. They can't be human. They can't be people. And it gets to the point where now you're having these larger entities, these networks, that's coddling these folk because they're canceling these shows because people run their mouths. They're downplaying, pushing these leads to the side because your quote unquote fan base
Mhm.
is upset with it.
Yeah,
Like it's
because who's the CW for? Like, I always looked at the CW as for young adults, teenagers to like maybe 20 somethings. Yeah, I'm my big grown age. I enjoy some of the stuff, so I'm gonna watch whatever the hell I want to. I'm grown. I pay my bills. I can watch what I want. But I'm like, who is truly the target audience? And with that in mind, especially if it's young people, like, is it just one particular sect of young people? Is it not all the young folks? Like, who is this for?
the young people is gay as fuck.
All yes, yes. These folks is queer up to like all of these folks. Yeah, and then if they ain't, they're very queer adjacent. Like, so or I don't know. Again, the fallout from that P Valley scene just like blew my mind. How many people didn't just turn the channel? Like, so yeah, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
When I see like, and that's what I don't get. Like when I see stuff that I don't like, stuff that rubs me the wrong way, I just turn the channel. I watched the first season of The Boys. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't my cup of tea.
Huh.
I just didn't go back. I just
Yeah.
didn't go back.
I gave it 2, and I was like, nah.
I'm like,
Mm-mm.
I didn't get on the internet and drag it every single time. I didn't make
Hey.
YouTube videos
Mm-hmm.
that are 40 minutes long talking about why I hate every episode. I don't have that type of time. I
Mm-mm.
ain't trying to give nothing that much energy.
Right. And I mean, same. Like, I watched it. There was that race is immortal lady, and I tried to kind of look past. I was like, oh no, this is not for me. And I may have even tweeted, hey, this is wild. But I'm not like, fuck this show and everybody who work on it. I hope y'all all go to hell. Like, it's not that.
It's not for
Whatever,
me.
it's just not for me. I can move on and watch something else. Like, Laz Alonso can get me to watch it a little bit longer, but it just couldn't do it. So, you know, uh, um. Andre says the Reverse Flash comes back. He keeps coming back as the wrong person, facepalm, and that plot has gotten multiple seasons. Yet they don't even want to wait and see if Tom finds Barton. What I hope doesn't happen is that now that this announcement has been made, which I don't know, whatever. I'm going to accept whatever they give me. But I hope it's not like a rush to like just bring Barton home because you know you only have this one season. So like, let's just get him home, and this is what happened.
It's too late now. I mean, ain't the show already like? I mean, I would assume. I know
Oh,
that.
see, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was like, I know that some of the longer shows, like again, my family reference is the Arrowverse shows. I know that they take breaks and they film more stuff towards the end,
Okay.
and sometimes they respond based off fan reaction or what have you. But if this show only has 10 episodes, I'm pretty sure that these episodes are all like filmed. My worry is that they might not have known they only had one season, and we don't get Barton back. Like my concern is that it ends on a cliffhanger because they were expecting to wrap it up.
Same thing that happened with Deadly Class. That ending pissed me like what do you mean? So yeah, no, I can see that. I for whatever reason in my head, and it may just be wishful thinking, truly, I don't know why I was under the impression that Tom Swift had 2 seasons. I was truly like, oh, Tom Swift has 2 seasons.
So when I was looking at the thing, because I found the article on Twitter. When I was looking at it, someone else brought that up. Because I remember what happened basically was somebody, I don't know if it was a writer, I don't know if it was the official writer's room Twitter, somebody sent out a tweet that was like, they pretty much said that we had 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But they like quickly deleted it.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, maybe
I mean, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying maybe that just caught on somewhere, but I really truly thought Tom Swift had 2 seasons.
I'm pretty sure that they were supposed to, but what I'm feeling like is these bigots that have now taken it over have been like, no, because apparently they want to show more wholesome content, whatever that means.
This ain't Lifetime. This ain't the Hallmark Network. Get your idea of wholesome out of here. My wholesome is I still like strippers. Walk, shake your ass. They still got stuff they do when they ain't at work. That's wholesome to me. So, bro. And all of these I'm looking at all these retweets, and they're like, "Did this network even promote this show?" Some folks, I saw it coming, just like CW shows, they don't promote. A bunch of people like, "Did this even premiere yet?" And I understand that some folks just like it probably seems like this shit like just premiered or this not on their radar. But yeah, for so many people to have this questioning this show,
hell, I think what today makes a month.
Yeah. Yes. Truly it does. Yeah. So, and yeah, this girl, she said exactly what you said, Miss Caroline. I'm sorry, Caroline. I didn't go butcher your name. There's been a wide speculation that Nextstar's plan is to create a more wholesome lineup of programs. What does that even mean? Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be talking to Jack tonight.
And what the fuck is wholesome? Like, to your point, what does wholesome mean? Like, quickly define it for me. Quickly, Nextstar. What is wholesome? Is it racially ambiguous? Is it crosses and Bibles nailed to the wall? Wow. Like, what is it? Is it down home, sweet country Alabama? Like, what is it?
It's Walker.
And it's what's that commercial I just saw? Is it Roswell? But them people was the same color as that sand. I was like, what is this? What is this? Who is this? Andre says the report I read says the CW's new owner wants to appeal to an older, more wholesome views. But like when you say older, are you that even now brings in the question, what about these? Like, is it like fuck them kids? Like fuck them teenagers? We don't need to like what does that mean?
That is a terrible idea.
Like just business wise, why would I want to appeal to grown folks if I'm not appealing to them with nostalgia? I would want to appeal to these kids who are gonna bother their parents about Tom Swift merch and Nancy Drew merch.
That is a terrible idea. Like just based off the little I do know about how TV functions and things of that sort. Like, I hate to say it like this, but you're chasing a dying market.
And I'm part of that because look, I have a job, so I cannot consume in the way that teenagers and folks who are not tied to a job with 401k and all that has to, like, people who can be creatives because they're staying with mom and dad or they have this income that's disposable because parents are taking care of the bill. Like, I have a job, so like
like
9 to 5 I'm working.
like all it takes is for somebody older to miss one episode and they ain't coming back.
Look, oh,
But
this is
that's
this
what they
is
want. So they can have it.
oh, Andre says we watch straight scenes all the time. We watch white center stories all the time. People can shut the fuck up and deal with black gay content. I mean, yeah, simply put, that's, I've been watching Seinfeld, Mad About You, Just Shoot Me, Friends. I did not wake up white. So you don't have to fear that watching Tom Swift you're waking up black or gay. You're definitely not waking up a billionaire. I mean, so like,
Try if that was the case.
look, hey, I would already. Those of you who watch Our Kind of People, y'all be rich already. Um, what is this? Forgive me if I mess your name up. Chat GM, I believe is your name. I saw the exact same tweet. Someone wasn't sure if they should tune into Tom Swift, and the Writers Room Twitter account was like, "We got 2 seasons. Come and have fun with us." Really disappointing. Okay, see, I know. Thank you for mentioning that, Chat GM. I know. I was like in the back of my head. I was like, okay, I'm 2 seasons. I got that 2 seasons. I know I didn't make that up. I didn't pull it out of thin air because I'll tell you in a
It was a thing.
heartbeat. Yeah. Damn, man, that's unfortunate. Thanks for sharing. Andrea says, I'm seeing people say they never even heard of the show. Right. The reason I go so hard for the show is because I wanted to avoid them being able to say exactly that. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. And there's a lot of people. There's one account in particular that comes to mind that's always like, "Oh, y'all better support this show and this and that." And what I feel like is kind of more of a snarky tone, but it's like you have people who are live tweeting every day. Like, true enough, this podcast has the hashtag DTS Pod, but if you just simply look at Tom Swift's hashtag, yeah, we'll be up in there too. But like, look at the amount of people that's like watching this show. So it's not like there's no audience. There's never 3 people tweeting like us three. It's not just us. Like, there's always something.
There's always people.
Yeah, I don't know. This hit me harder, fam, than I thought. Um, Charmed, Supernatural. There have been shows about the occult, which I don't mind. Sabrina is doing necromancy, but we can't have a gay black show. Yeah, that's it. You can have.
Sabrina was like, well, not the. This was on Netflix. But I would say Sabrina was
Yeah,
satanic.
as hell. She was like satanic with like a, I don't know, a
With a
doggy
capital
face
S.
filter. Like, she was like, that shit was dark. And
And see that's another example. I watched maybe 5 minutes of Sabrina. You know what? I can't do
see,
it.
I'm for it.
I'm not that far removed from the church. I'm sorry. It ain't fit right in my spirit.
Yeah, yeah. I was with Sabrina, and even after, I just kind of fell off. But until they had that, like, I don't know if you even made it this far. There was like a ritual in the woods, but like the devil showed up. And it wasn't like the version of, oh, the devil was just a very attractive man. No, this was very much a dead. I was like, wait, now what are we doing? What is now? What is this show for? Is it all the golf
No,
kids?
but
Like,
for
what
real.
is this show for?
No, I
Oh my
couldn't.
god.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
that
do it.
was, oh, Sabrina was a moment, I'll say that. Um Chat Jim, no problem. I didn't know they deleted the tweet, so that's news to me, but it certainly made the rounds. Thank you for that. Yeah, that makes sense because I don't, as much as I'll like something and I will say, oh, I hope this has 5 seasons. I'm not going out definitively saying yes, this new show has 400 seasons. Like, that's not me. So I know I got that from somewhere. Um, yeah, this is something. I'm at this point. This episode is therapy for me. Like, I'm just kind of talking through my issues.
Do what you gotta do.
Like, Ashley, they all deserve. But I'm just thinking like, what's next? And it's the same way I felt about Black Lightning. Like, regardless to the critiques I had for it, where do these people? Like, I have not seen anyone but China since then, and I seen China because like she was on social media, not because she's in this new movie. Like, where is everybody? Like Crondon, like that man visually alone. I wanted to see him in more stuff. Again, this may not be those folks' desire, but operating under the assumption that yes, they wanted to continue acting.
It won't work.
Where I mean, where are they? Man, this is
Yeah.
So is Nancy Drew continuing? And then if so, does she just ignore the fact that Tom Swift popped up?
That's
Like,
probably what
is
they
he
want to do
just
anyway. At least, at least from my interaction with a lot of the with watching or listening to some of the Nancy Drew fans, that's what they wanted anyway.
that's weird. That's really weird. That's a weird stance to have. That's a weird stance to have on something. I don't know. It always baffles me. And this goes for comics, TV, movies, everything. It's so weird to me that you get so much pushback by even making one person a different race. Well, if I made such and such a white character, well, yeah, because there's 462 white characters for every person of color, for every handicapped character. And then even those characters of color, a lot of times are tokenized. Like, when is African American Storm had like just black homegirls? You know, when has she not been, this goddess deity who's so omnipotent and powerful, which kudos to her for that. But like, I think she's even been seen through this white lens where like she's this African in the sense of the Africa we are depicting, because Africa looks a lot like America with just like different types of buildings. Like, it's not, so it's like, what you race bend or you queerify a character, and it's like, oh, why don't you just make your own? But then you make your own, and then you motherfuckers ain't giving it the push that it needs. So like, and then we get something like this, and then it's gone, and everybody is, see, I told you. See, I knew this was gonna happen. And some may be like angry about it or being malicious, but it still isn't less true. Like, yeah, I could see this coming. I had childhood hope. I had this adolescent hope that this is not the way we would end, but here we are. Um so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is, where do we go from here? And I'm about to read this word for word. This person who I looked at their profile, they're very much queer. We know it was canceled because Nexstar doesn't like fags, especially more so if they are black. Hope that company burns and their board of execs burn in hell. And that is, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know. That's from a person who I can say everything on their profile shows that points to homosexuality. So I'm, hey.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So I really truly hope that this show is picked up. I really do.
Where would you
I
want it to go?
um that's okay. So when I get that question, because I even pose it a lot of times with doing shows, it's kind of twofold. So right away, my first thought, HBO Max. To me, they've been the one platform that, regardless to everyone and their issues, when it comes to blackness, they've done a pretty good job at least letting the creators do their own thing. Insecure comes to mind, Lovecraft Country comes to mind, but then it's also like, what black apps are out there? Like, is it called Black TV? It's Black something. Then you have BET Plus, which is BET Plus even black? Because isn't BET owned by Viacom?
I wouldn't wish anything over to BET.
Yeah,
Not,
but no, yeah,
but
no.
yes, I'm gonna say you're correct. It is technically
Mhm.
by what have you,
But
But
see, that's the thing. But I even say that and hesitate because it's like that's not black. Like Black Entertainment Television that just like threw together some Pride marathon of what is it, 20s and old Noah's Ark episodes, which like kudos for those being shown, but like the last week of Pride, because Lil Nas X called you out.
come
Was
on, come
there
on.
was it not 29 other days? And I'll say even 20, I'll say 36, including the last week in May, that you could have prepared for some sort of Pride anything.
You took it right out.
So yeah, it's interesting. And to those people who are like, oh, it's just a show, or it's just this, it's just that. This is easy for you to say when you can, again, just taking the shit I watched in the 90s. You can watch Dharma and Greg, Mad About You, Seinfeld, Friends. But like, how many Tom Swift adjacent shows were there in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the 20 teens? Like,
Right.
sit with that. Sit with that for me. Like, where were they? And I'll tell you where they were. They were on VHS because a bunch of gay niggas got together and decided to make different like indie programming. That's where they were.
Yeah.
And even that was hard to come by. There's something called The Closet that was a I had it on DVD, and I can't even remember if those were bootleg or if I got them from like a convention. And it was a web series, all intents and purposes, a web series centering these queer men, black queer men, like, and I think Hispanic, I don't know, but black and brown queer men. But that was like in 97, maybe, or 2000, maybe 99. So I say all that to say where it's easy to dismiss this because you're not affected. It's not your brand of television. Your identity isn't being thrown away for just something.
And then and that's for me that's why I take it to, because I do enough with media and do it and look enough at enough stuff to be like, I see the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm seeing this happening, and I know I know a little bit of something to know that,
Mm-hmm.
particularly when you're talking about like queer folk, trans folk, gay, pan, bisexual, whatever, what have
Mm-hmm.
you. How most people even understand that these type of people exist
Mm-hmm. Come on.
through TV. They
Yep.
engage with these characters. They see these stuff in movies and books, et cetera, et cetera. So when you take away these shows, you're essentially taking away a bit of these people's humanity, because now people, it's easy for folks to be like, oh, it's easy for somebody to get on social media and be like, I think gay people should be shot in the head, if they don't
Mm-hmm.
know any gay people in real life, and they have no understanding of what gay people are like.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Especially when you
easy to
brought
make
up on that.
it's easy to make these jumps when these people aren't people to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And it's saddening. It's upsetting. And it's really upsetting that the CW, even CW Next Star, whoever the fuck, whatever, that they have this power, because there's not many. I can't even think of, outside of Black and Sexy TV. I cannot think of another streaming service, because that is a streaming service. It started off as a YouTube. It started off well, whatever. It long history.
Yeah.
And a lot of great actors. Javicia Nicole, who played Batwoman, Ryan, she came from Black and Sexy TV. Now, I'm not discrediting her art because I don't know if she maybe did stuff prior to, but she was on several seasons of Chef Julian. I think what's the Cupid show? I forget the name, but that's where I introduced to her.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, and even Chef Julian was like in a Tyler Perry project. Not to say that's the be all end all, but I'm saying I'm seeing these people. There was this guy named Proud Dad. I forget his name because he was called Proud Dad on the show. He was in a bunch of commercials, like Ford and Subaru commercials. Like, I'm seeing these faces from that kind of factory, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm seeing them there, and like, who's to say Tom Swift couldn't have been that? Like, where are we going to see Marquise Vilson again? Where are we going to see him? Honestly and truly, like I want this man to get work, but like I don't want you to be a B character. I don't want you to be a side character. Same thing with Tom. Same thing with Ashley. Same thing with Lino. Same thing with Rowan. So, like all of these, like what? What? Even the Darbys, like this
I mean,
wealthy asshole black family. Where are we gonna see them again? Like, where are they? Mm-hmm. This is someone mentioned this is so anti-gay. You do this on the last day of Pride. Like, couldn't even wait one day, couldn't wait till the last episode of this. Like, this is a hate crime. That is what this is.
At this point. At this point.
Like, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I just like what I don't know. Knowing the roots that planted what is the CW, knowing you built your shit off the backs of the WB, you built those shit off the backs of UPN, and we go through where just a couple months ago, the article was released that CW ain't been making money since 2006. I think when they first became CW. So it's like, girl, what is happening? Like, I digress. And my other concern with this news coming out is much like this very episode. Like, how is this going to now affect the enthusiasm behind the show going forward? We have several more episodes left. We don't have one episode and it just had to get out, this news out now. Like, why did this news even have to come out? Like, it would have been upsetting either way, but like, was it necessary that this comes out right now? And I hope the actors didn't find this shit out like we did.
That's what I've been thinking about that for a minute, because you saw the thing that I sent you. Where Marquise put that on. Like, I was looking at 10 in the fucking gym earlier today. Hell, the dude, what's his name, Albert, that plays Rowan, he was sending out political messages earlier. I hope that them people didn't find out like this, because that's really a fucking hate crime. I don't know. I'm gonna be talking to Jack tonight, because what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't even see. Let me look through here, because yeah, I guess that means I can do my social media break.
Yeah, as Andre says, the only reason I was even active on social media lately was because of Tom Swift. I can see that, and again, because I know the comments will be coming if they haven't started already. Oh, it's just a show. Oh, why are you so wrapped up? Why it's so important? Well, look at the shit that you liked as a kid. Was there an episode of Winnie the Pooh that just stuck with you that even in your big age you still think about? This shit ain't just these are characters on the TV, get over it. That's not what it is. We are in a space now where you can, if a motherfucker, and this is, I hope this ain't triggering this, I'm talking about guns and shit, but if a motherfucker can go into a Batman theater and shoot everybody up with a fucking gun, there's something there. You didn't just walk into Bridget Jones' Diary and do that. Like, there's something behind these stories that they are important. People take things, and that you have so many people. If they're just stories and just people on the screen, why should it fucking matter? Why do people lose their fucking mind when you change the race of Batman? Why are you fucking ready to damn hate crime every fucking gay person you see when a character like Bobby Drake, who's still white, was retconned to be queer or bisexual? I don't know, or gay. I don't know how he identifies. Like, if they're just these characters and we should get over this just to show, then explain that to every single person who has some emotional attachment to some form of storytelling in media. Like, do that. So that's one thing I don't want to hear. Oh, it's just a show, and why are you so upset? And this isn't that. No. Watch a soap opera. Talk to your great Annie. Talk to your grandma about watching As the World Turns, Days of Our Lives, all that shit back in the day. If they're just stories and people just doing their job at acting, then why are they so up in arms when one of these niggas is dead for the 50th time or got a secret twin or some shit. Like, come on, let's not. And if you're a wrestling fan, you better not part your lips to try to say shit. Not that I'm coming for wrestling fans, but like, y'all, let's not act like this ain't soap opera storytelling at its finest either. So just, I don't know, man. But
I didn't just went through and looked to see if anybody said anything.
mm-hmm.
I went
The
through.
writers. Oh my, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I went through the actors. I didn't see nothing. I hadn't made it to the writers' room. What they said.
They just posted a heart, and it's just a little red heart. That was it. And I get that. I don't. There's nothing else that need to be said. I mean, I wish they would say a little something, but like looking at that account, like they just changed their profile picture to Queen. It has been Zenzi forever. Like that account is so fun. I don't know who's running it or if there's multiple people, but I think people are taking for granted. Well, not necessarily Next Star because it seems like they're just bigots who hate black and queers, but people are. I think it comes down to this specific dollar amount where you're not even focused on a community because every show, regardless, has a community. Podcast has community. People who listen and tune in. TV shows, books have their fandoms and communities. So it's like, what is the point of this? Like, what is the God? I hope this show gets picked up. I want what's best for the cast and the crew and everyone involved, whatever they want to happen. But like, I'm gonna watch week to week, but it's like shit. What are we doing? So this has been a very therapeutic, sad episode on decoding Tom Swift. Like, what is there to decode anymore? Decode this fucking anti-black, anti-gay ass decisions that have been made. Yeah. I don't know. You got anything else?
All I have is cuss words and violence.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, I'll say this has been a very special episode. This is definitely one for the books, man.
Listen.
Breaking news. Oof. I'll still be tuned in for the rest of these next Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still ride for this show. But my God, if this ain't frustrating. And peace and blessings and love to everybody affiliated with that show, even if you just not just because it's important, but even if you're in craft services and you never step foot on camera, like still, if you are without a job, I hope you get one quick. And I hope this show gets picked up. I hope the best for everyone. And yeah, check out our past episodes of the podcast and check us out on that Tuesday and get your little tweeting in because I'm probably gonna be obnoxious with my tweets or maybe shit, depending on. Okay, I'm rambling. This is a great thing. Getting this breaking news, that's the first during a live recording. And if you're hurt or affected by this, I mean, what I want for you is to kind of live in that and understand that it's not silly that this show being canceled has upset you. It's not stupid that you like these characters. It's not weird that you feel some type of way about this show no longer having that second season. Like I think those are all legitimate feelings to have.
Yeah.
Because they're your feelings, regardless. That's how you feel. So that's that. And until next time, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, and fight the power.
Listen.
Fight the powers that be. Fight the power. All right.